Hello to everyone out there. I hope you have been kind to yourself this week. I hope you've been taking time to write out your dreams and your visions for yourself. I hope that you have continued holding faith, because I know we're in times right now where it is not that easy, but we're getting it done. We're out here. End of 2022. I did a short live, but I figured I'd make this a video too, just because I know I have other subscribers now who may be curious, and I just wanted to share on more than one platform. So this year's been quite a journey. I'm just laughing because I was thinking about it earlier today. Like this has been a whirlwind. But first, I want to thank me for believing in me, because I gave birth to a baby this year. So that's one of my wins. And I'm learning more to celebrate the wins instead of only looking at the losses, because when I first made my vision board this year, actually, I didn't even do a vision board now that I think about it. I said I wasn't going to do one because I was mad I didn't manifest everything I wanted on the one from the prior year. But I lost my train of thought. Anyway, I look back at everything that happened this year. I look at all that I accomplished. You know, I started a podcast, the Tailored Healing Collective podcast, that came from an experience that I had with psilocybin while with my daughter, and it changed my life. You know, I saw this big gap where no one was having these conversations about indigenous and sacred medicine and how it has helped and heal people around the world since the beginning of time, as long as mushrooms have been on the earth, even though, you know, they're extraterrestrial. And it opened up this avenue in my life that I could have never expected. But today's video is about why I quit cannabis and psychedelics, which, if you know me at all, if you don't, I'll explain myself. I used to advocate pretty heavily for cannabis use for mothers, for women, for pregnant women, because I was a user before, and it used to help me calm my anxiety a lot. It helped me with dark and repressed thoughts that I had, and it never harmed myself or my child. I, in fact, believe that it really liberated a lot of the previous thoughts that I had about myself and what pregnancy would be like for me. I've also had a relationship with psychedelics and sacred medicine, and I differentiate the two because we could be talking about different things there. But I was advocating for it because, you know, this is something that's been taboo in society for a very long time, and people have been written off as crazy for using them. They've been, you know, told that they're heavy drug users, and there's a few things I could honestly say about this, and it's probably difficult to hear coming from me because I was making a lot of posts about this like earlier this year, you know, advocating about why we need it in our communities and how it's been negatively portrayed in the media. And I do not have any ill thoughts against people or, you know, any communities that still use this in the most natural way possible. I think it is still very healing and a very amazing tool that has been placed upon the earth for us. I think they are still sacred teachers. I just believe that my time with them finished. And I'll talk a little bit about that, not going too heavy or deep. I felt like I had used enough. You know, I won't say there's only so much you can learn, but for me, like when I learn anything in life and I kind of like take away the knowledge that I need from it, I don't really need to keep doing it over and over again. And even like with sacred medicine and psychedelics, I've taken like big gaps where I do not participate in them at all. Like the first time I did LSD, for example, there was a large gap between that time and the next time I did it again. Cannabis was different because, you know, the effects do not last as long. And it's something you kind of need to keep using. I would also like to mention, I come from a father who is an addict. And that's not easy to say. Luckily, I did not get the attribute to be addicted to anything in my life. I never stay stuck on one thing for too long, because it just feels like too much and overwhelming. Like I said, I like to get what I can learn from something. And I don't know, somewhere around like postpartum and maybe like the past couple months, I just got to a point where I said, I feel like this is becoming a tool that's being overused again. And what I mean by that is, now I knew that in my heart and in my mind that eventually these things would be normalized. And now that they are, like, I started seeing, and I have an episode called I'm Seeing Mushrooms Everywhere. Now it's popping up because people are now, like, we're in the age of awakening. So people are now, like, getting hip to the fact that these taboo drugs, and I don't want to say it like that, but these taboo things are now becoming, I don't say becoming because they are natural. There's nothing unnatural about them. But for the population in the world who thought that they were wrong, they're now becoming more accepting of them. But I feel like my time kind of stopped with it again because I feel like I learned what I needed to. I don't need to feel that high again. I want to, and I don't like saying it like that because I feel like to some people that might come off as disrespectful, because it's not about getting high. A lot of people need to rekindle that relationship they have with their soul and with the earth. Mother Nature is there for us. Just for me personally, I feel like I healed myself. And obviously I'm still on that path, like it never ends. But I feel like I healed that part of me that needed to be dependent on other things in order to move to my next step in life. And I had several discussions with other people about it, and they were saying, well, how this is your last time and maybe you'll come back. And I'm like, no. It's kind of like when I knew I didn't want any more kids. Like, if I had another experience, it would be a blessing, but I don't feel the need to. I feel like this is my lesson. This is what I'm supposed to learn. And what I've learned from everything in my life is balance and learning that your mind is your most powerful tool. I could still see myself, leading retreats in the future. I could see myself teaching people about these things, but I also would always want to emphasize that you should not become reliant on these things. And, a lot of powerful people in the community, they always talk about integration because you can't just say, I'm just going to do, ayahuasca, or I'm just going to do psilocybin every day of my life. Like, you need to find other routes and methods to take care of yourself, because otherwise you'll get stuck in a spiral of always depending on the next thing to help you. And that's kind of what I felt like it was doing for me, like even microdosing, which again, I'm not knocking at all. I very much admire these courageous people and women who have created these platforms to normalize this for women who look like us, for people who look like us, for people all over the world. But I'm just not there anymore. And that was really hard because it went down a few different routes. Like, one of them was I did not get I don't know how to say this. I didn't get the validation that I thought I wanted for speaking up about this. I would see like a few other people in the community who were speaking out about it, and I felt like, I'm taking my time to educate people, and now so-and-so's over here doing this and so-and-so's over that, and everybody notices them doing that. But I've come to realize that's not my role. If you know human design, I'm stuttering a little bit, I'm a manifester. So the role of a manifester is they start and they initiate, but they have to leave the project where it is. So this year, and even with cannabis, and I'm not the only one, so I'm not saying, I'm the starter of everything, I created it, and no, it's none of that. But I initiated opening up doors for women to talk about using sacred medicine and normalizing it. I'm one of many women who have been doing that, but I had to realize my time was up. I had to hand the baton over to someone else. And that's the point of being a teacher in this world. I think we don't teach so we can get, a big trophy and award for being a teacher. We teach so that we can pass the lesson on to someone else. So, And me saying I got to a point where I felt like I didn't really need cannabis or psilocybin or anything anymore in order to proceed on my journey, I feel like from here, I'm handing the baton on to the people who do still need it, or the people who are those teachers. Because, it's not about getting validation for things. It's not about saying, I'm the best and I got this and you guys are just followers. It's not about that. We teach so that other people can become teachers. We lead so others can become leaders. And, that's been a great lesson for me this year, because I was like really about my ego. I was like, well, why is nobody noticing me? Why is nobody doing, like, girl, that's not what you were supposed to learn from this. And in deciding to stop, and I have to say it like this just for, because this is how I speak, sobering up from using all sacred medicine, including cannabis, it opened up my perception so much more. And I always had this idea in my head that using sacred medicine was the reason why my third eye was open and why my pineal gland was activating and why I could see all these things. And while you do have those experiences, I noticed that when I stopped, the real activation started, because then the real work happened. These are cheat codes to the universe. And I was talking to my husband one day about this, and I said, if we had the cheat code to all life's games, then what would be the fun in playing it? It's fun for a while, but you don't have to go through the levels. You don't have to go through the initiation. You just shoot straight up to the top. There's no learning process. You don't have to learn anything. You just skip over. And I feel like we do get lessons when we take our journeys, when we do the journeying process, but we still have to go back into real life. And I've seen a lot of people in the community kind of spiral. I think that's one thing that kind of separated me from it, because after a while, I noticed that everybody was still talking about their trauma. I'm like, okay, we're advocating for sacred medicine. We're talking about how helpful it is, how it's freed us. But what are we doing next? What are we doing to help the community other than providing, this same medicine for other people? What else can we do to elevate consciousness, to move forward, to progress to the next level? Because there's only so many times you can go on a journey, before you have to actually put in the work. And the work doesn't look the same for everybody. Some people are meant to keep creating the medicine. Some people are meant to go find their purpose somewhere else. But I just no longer wanted to be kind of a part of the spiral. I wanted to figure out where I was going next in life. I have the little one in the other room. She can hear me talking. She probably knows I'm making a video without her in here. But I greatly appreciate my time this year with what I learned. It's given me some big lessons in observation in the way I treat myself and the way I treat others. It's helped me understand I cannot control anyone else's journey but my own. And my race is my race against myself. It is not against 5 other people on social media. It's not against, such and such with a business or such and such with a documentary. It is me and myself. And we're not even in this race. We're in this beautiful dance of co-creation, of saying, okay, I take this step and you take this step. So I took this step of using this beautiful medicine in order to open myself up. And then there was this other step of, okay, well, now you know how to open yourself up. It's time for you to help open others up. And it's time for you to use your gifts. So, I got a lot out of it. I learned so much. I felt so much. And I do hope that in the future, speaking to my children about this, I'll never look down on them for this. This was something I actually could never have shared with my parents. Yeah, Mom, I did cannabis for so long. My mom knows, but this isn't a shared experience that we have. So, if it is something in the future that my children feel like they want to learn about, I'm never going to act like this didn't happen. Hell, this podcast is out there. So they're going to see it at some point, if they're curious enough. But it's been a journey. It has, but it's been a beautiful one. I honor cannabis. I honor ayahuasca. I honor psilocybin, mycelium, every part of this journey has been so beautiful. And I keep saying that just because I'm honoring what I thought it was going to be was not what it was, but it still led me exactly to where I needed to be. So I won't spend my time ranting too much and get back to my family. But if you are on this journey, if you're just now finding sacred medicine, don't feel like you have to stop because of what I'm saying. I'm just letting you know you may get to a point where you're ready to move on, to the next thing, and don't be afraid to take that step, because once you realize how powerful you are, you won't need stimulants or anything else to help wake you up. These are tools that the earth provided, but not so you become reliant on it, so you could figure out how to co-create and how to, build the world around onto the world around you that was provided for you. So stay up, 2023 is coming for all of us. And the best way to stay prepared is to look inside of yourself, know that you are all that you need, and find the right people to surround yourself with until you get to your next phase. Learn to be comfortable with yourself. Don't stay stuck in a spiral because it can get dangerous at times. And just sending love. I can't do anything else but send love. Love is all there is. Love is all there will be. Even above the anxiety, above the anger, above the confusion, love is simply all that there is. I think somebody's delivering something over here. But until next time, let love lead the way.